Karma. Starmer got stabbed in the back by his own peer, reveal Labour Party true colour on social media. The Labour Party has been brutally attacked by Lord Andrew Adonis, one of its own peers, who raged, "Labour hasn't won an election since the invention of the iPhone." Lord Adonis has been affiliated to Labour for nearly 25 years, serving in the government headed by former Prime Minister Tony Blair, where he was Transport Secretary between 2009 and 2010. He lost that role after Labour was ousted from Downing Street by the Conservative Party and its leader David Cameron to break 13 years of power, first under the premiership of Mr Blair, and then Gordon Brown. But Lord Adonis' party has experienced a disastrous time since, losing 3 straight general elections as the opposition slipped down the pecking order among UK voters. The first Apple iPhone, one of the best-selling mobile handsets in history, was released amid a panic-buying frenzy in June 2007, 2 years after Labour won its last general election in 2005. In a stunning comparison to that, Lord Adonis has taken to Twitter to apparently mock the party's dismal failures over those years. He wrote, "Today's fact, Labour hasn't won an election since the invention of the iPhone." Several people replied to those comments to highlight just why they think Labour has not won any of the recent general elections. Twitter user Richard pointed out, "Labour doesn't win elections because they do not resonate with voters outside of their own following. The majority of our country's electorate are actually swing voters." Pontorma tweeted, "Shocking isn't it, but still the infighting continues rather than tackling the real issue of the Tories." Bill Warman commented, "Since Tony Blair, they have spent too much time trying to be middle class. Today they spend too much time arguing what the Conservative did last year at Christmas to get brownie points. Labour won votes on being the working class party, but those voters no longer exist." Twitter user Yerek added, "What should the Labour Party do to win the next election? Time is not on our side and internal problems are not helping to attract voters. We can't even take advantage of the scandals around the government." The comments from Lord Adonis are the latest this weekend, in which he has seemingly taken a swipe at the Labour Party. He lashed out at both the Conservatives and Labour over their positions on tax hikes. The arch-Remainer also claimed #Brexit was at the root of the problem. On Saturday morning, Lord Adonis tweeted, "So we now have a Tory government putting up taxes but pretending it wants to cut them. A Labour opposition which would put up taxes while complaining that taxes are already too high. Neither of them talks about Brexit, a prime cause of the higher taxes. Time for honest politics." In a more detailed side of the story, Labour's problem is twofold. Firstly, the people may favour a different direction for the country, but they don't believe Labour is the right vehicle to travel the journey. They doubt the competence of the party to put the car on the road and plan the route, giving the electorate every encouragement to travel with the Conservatives. Secondly, the time has passed for an odd tweak to the engine or a change of tyres for the Labour Party. Instead, a comprehensive redesign is needed because everything has changed. The electoral fault lines Labour needs to traverse have completely realigned. The Labour Party's task is to now deliver a plan for the post-Brexit UK, something the Conservatives have yet to do. Continuously over-promising may be an election plan for some, but it certainly isn't a strategy for government. The constant glare of the false light of boosterism shining through the windscreen of their car is in the process of driving the country off the road. Labour can show the Prime Minister that honesty is the flip side of optimism, and that, contrary to Boris Johnson's belief, you can't have one without the other. All in all, nothing has changed. Voters are still prepared to look to Labour for the fairness they believe to be at the heart of the party, but will only vote Labour if they trust the party to deliver. All that stands between Labour and government is Labour itself. Yet, at the same time, everything has changed. The bond between the party and its core supporters has broken. Between the party and